Without question, PBA Hall of Famer Dick Weber really is the captain of the Showboat. He won in '86 over Les Sykes, and then 1 year later, he finished very strong in the 10th frame and was in essence handed the tournament by J.V. Blaylock, who missed the 10-pin. Dick Weber looking for title number 30 in his career and perhaps 3 in a row here at the Showboat. Stay tuned. Welcome to the Showboat Hotel, Casino, and Bowling Center in Las Vegas for the championship round finals of the $100,000 Showboat PBA Seniors Invitational. Now let's meet our top 5 finalists. Making his first ever appearance on national television is 54-year-old Joe Callaway out of Aurora, Colorado. His opponent in the opening game is also making his initial appearance in the championship round, John Cena. The winner of that game will then take on talented Tita Semez, looking for his 3rd consecutive seniors title. Bowling out of the number 2 position, the only winner in this seniors event at the Showboat, Hall of Famer Dick Weber. And of course, from the Windy City, tonight's top seed in search of his 19th career PBA championship, Carmen Salvino. Welcome back, everybody. Joe Callaway and John Cena in the opening game at the Showboat Hotel, Casino, and Bowling Center. And this will be an interesting shot for Mr. Callaway.
First one on national TV. Watch the loft. Who says you need experience, huh, Denny?
Well, he retired after 20 years in the Army as a staff sergeant, served in Vietnam and also in Korea, and we asked him, are you nervous? He said, this is a piece of cake tonight.
After Korea and Vietnam, I think it would be.
First good look at John Cena on the right-hand lane, tickles the 10, and Cena opens up with a strike.
That was interesting, that way that pin carried. That looked like the 6-pin lane there. Came back around, hit it with the neck into the butt of the 10 and knocked it over. Watch the 6-pin, second from the right. Goes over, comes back, now it turns, hit that other pin and knocked it back into it.
Back to live action, looking for the double to move ahead. 4-9. There goes the 4 finally in the 9-pin stands, and that's a bit of a break for Cena.
Interesting, we were talking to Tita Semez before the telecast. He said lane 60 hooked about 2 boards more than lane 59. Yet both of these bowlers thought lane 59 hooked more than 60. Seems like it was right when Cena went high on his first shot at 59.
Plenty of speed on the cross alley spare attempt for Cena, with a spare up in the second. Really are 2 stories in this championship. 2 unknown players, relative unknown players to the fans all over the United States, and then 3 prominent players in PBA history on top.
Callaway trying for a double. Last night he needed to win his final match against Glenn Carlson to make it to our championship round. Started with the first 7, shot 259. Piece of cake, huh?
Joe started in 10th after the opening round, then 14th, 15th, 5th, 4th, and then, as Mike alluded to in the position round game last night, beat Glenn Carlson to make the telecast here this evening.
Oh, just got it.
What are you nervous about? He's the one that's bowling.
He wasn't. You notice he switched balls and used a real shiny ball going for that spare. And ball, that was the right move because the ball went right straight at the spare and didn't hook an inch.
Joe Callaway, 54 years of age, 6'1", 250 pounds, and he posted the best match play record of our 5 finalists. He was 14-4 this week.
Carries that light mixer. Those dots out there, his first row of dots are about 6 feet out on the lane, and he gets it out beyond them. We're going to see here from a side angle. Watch how far out on the lane he gets the ball. Into his slide, way out there. Woo. Don't necessarily recommend that. Cena much smoother, lays it down much smoother and softer, but leaves the 2-8. Ball didn't make it up on lane 60 for him.
Playing the big wide arc.
Real soft speed. He varies his speeds. You know, he throws a lot harder at the spares. He gives it a lot more loft at the spares.
John, just a youngster, of course, only 50. Franklin, Pennsylvania, located about midway between Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Erie. And there's the first mistake of the opening game of the championship match as wife and daughter look on and not too pleased with that
response.
Do they look alike there?
Yeah, you could tell that would be mother and daughter, couldn't you? Well, now the key is, will John Cena be able to bounce back, make a good shot here on 59 and right himself a little bit?
I think he was just striking too much in practice not to get something going. Almost had that 9-pin up there again.
Well, he knocked it down. Last time he left the 4 and that fell. So Cena strikes in the 4th to draw back close. But right at this point in time, Callaway leads by 13 in the opening stages. And the man who started bowling all the way back in 1962 in Stuttgart, West Germany, could now lead by 23 if he strikes here on the right-hand lane.
For the double. Gets that light hit.
His ball almost leaves the picture, Michael, when he lets it go.
I'm telling you, you hear that boom, boom.
I know one thing for sure. You couldn't fall asleep if you were bowling next to him.
Boy, he definitely gets a bounce on that bowling ball. And he's watching that. Boy, look at that determined look. Smacks those hands.
He looks like he's been out there forever. I think he's probably watched the PBA Summer Tour on ESPN.
For the turkey. Solid. He gets animated. The fans have had a good time watching him all week long. You know, 14 and 4. He's won a lot of matches.
Interestingly enough, on the television pair, he had games of 205 and 206, an average of 205.5, the lowest of the 5 contestants. Yet this evening, as we get our first re-rack on lane 60, Callaway's off to a fast start.
Cena, who was striking more probably than anyone in practice, needs to put some pressure on Callaway with a double right here. Interesting how you can just lose it as soon as those lights get turned on. He just is not throwing the ball the same as he was in practice. Leaves the 9-10 here. Difficult spare. He's going to have to move to the left. I imagine he'll increase speed and try and fit the ball right between the 2 pins, Dan. Oh, he got it out of the pit.
Well, as my partner nearly has cardiac arrest, Cena moves to the left-hand lane, and my, oh my, what a surprise in this one.
Well, watch this 10-pin. It goes back to the back of the pit, bounces up, whack, hits the 9. There's no other way to make it.
Now, see, that's the way you've always tried to make it, isn't it, Mike?
Yeah, of course.
Really, fans, he's being facetious there. Once again, the Cena family, and obviously smiles coming to their faces after that attempt. Right back at him, and a little trip of the 4, and Cena's right back in the match.
Well, he's going to have to do something with this right lane. He's been lost on it, light and high. Where Callaway, on the other hand, has had every ball in the 1-3 pocket.
Commanding lead of 33 pins, and he's working on a 3-bagger here now in the 6th.
Two, 4, 5. He just can't get the ball back on this right lane when he gives it a little bit more room.
Joe's been a member 19 years. Hadn't really bowled that much on the national tour, even at the regional level. As a matter of fact, his career earnings consisting of $2,900. So regardless of what happens to him this evening, he's going to win more money tonight than he has in his whole career.
Switches balls, shoots to the left. No problem with that 2, 4, 5.
Guarantee at this point in time, too, all of his friends and family at the AAA lanes in Aurora, Colorado, watching right now, glued to the television set, because he also does a lot of teaching there. Told everybody before he left town he just had a feeling about this week's tournament.
Did he really?
Yes, he did.
Well, he was sure right.
Yep.
Oh, a good feeling on the Brooklyn side. Trips that 6-10 out of there.
Smile for Callaway, who realizes, I think I got away with one there, but I'll take it. I'll take anything I can get here in Las Vegas because it's tough to come by. We'll be back with the conclusion right after this. Crucial point of the match now for John Cena, who trails by 30, but with a double here, he could really cut into the lead. Needs the first one to start, and leaves a solid 10. Tough break.
And his best shot on that right-hand lane, it really was a tough break. You start running out of frames in a hurry when you're trailing by 30 pins, Dan. Sometimes those pins just won't cooperate. He's got to make this fair, keep himself in the match. And has it.
Well, he's represented himself very well this week, and of course his son is a player on the PBA National Tour.
He's bowled in many national tours. And there we see that he's trailing by exactly 30 pins after 7 frames. He's in big trouble. He's got to have something good happen for him and something bad for Callaway.
The only mistake for him, basically, the missed spare in the third. Got to get back to the strike zone, high, and on the left-hand lead, and this time leaves the solid 4.
And he's been flirting with a little bit tight, a little bit high on the left lane the whole game. Left the 9-pin, tripped the 4, now leaves the 4.
First trip on national television, too, Mike. The game kind of flies by, doesn't it?
Right, yes. Absolutely right, Denny.
Said he felt like he bowled very well all week. Match play record was 12-6. And he averaged a little better than 207 here on lanes 59 and 60, the championship pair here at the Showboat Hotel. Of course, the winner of this game will take on one of the hottest players on the PBA Senior Tour, Tita Semez, who is at this point in time looking for his 3rd consecutive Seniors Championship, but he's got a long way to go.
And Callaway, with hammer in hand, can put this match away with a couple of strikes. Boy, that's the way to do it. Just dead flush. His best shot seems to be when he plays that little bit tighter line and goes right straight at the pocket and doesn't loop it.
Let me ask you a question. Technically, when you loft the ball that much and you arc it a little bit, isn't it a bit more inconsistent when it's bouncing a little bit?
I would think so, Tim.
Yeah, me too.
I haven't seen anyone recently that lofted the ball as much as Joe is doing. Well, a little chink in the armor right there.
Door swings wide open. Chuck Pierce, our statistician, puts the pencil to the score sheet. And that's the last thing in the world Callaway needed to do at this stage because he had the match comfortably in hand. Key now is to get as many as possible. Oh my! Callaway tried to put on a trick shot exhibition. A little bit later on in the telecast this evening, we'll be showing you some trick shots, but we nearly saw one live.
As we see him just clip this 4-pin, slide it right straight over 180 degrees across to get the 6, and it just misses it. Cena must strike here to have any chance to win, and he does. Situation, Denny, is this. John can strike out for 206. That would force Callaway to mark in this match. So, as they say, it's not over till the fat lady sings.
Nope. She's not even humming at this point. Now, of course, if we don't have a strike here, could change the complexion. Key shot.
Very little time. A lot of room. And a lot of pins floating around that 10-pin, but wouldn't knock it over. He just never could get a break the whole game. And it's going to go down into the experience category.
Eyes the overhead scores and realizes that this week has suddenly come to an end. Great experience, though, for John Cena, who bowled extremely well this week. And I would venture to say that we might see him in the championship round maybe some other time this summer on ESPN.
Right.
At 50, it's even a learning experience for them, right?
It's a learning experience always, Denny.
Yeah. Well, the fill ball, and of course, that always strikes. 186 for John Cena, and a nice check with $4,000. And there's the winner of match number 1, Joe Callaway.
Well, Callaway just trying to keep his stroke and get tuned up for Tita Semez, who's going to bowl more than 186 at Joe Callaway. I have confidence.
After watching Tita practice, I would venture to say that you're probably right there. Boy, very direct on that right-hand lane, and he is just crunching the pocket.
Watched him that last game last night. That's how he was throwing everyone, starting with the first 7. So,
and looking as relaxed as he did at the very outset of the match. Didn't appear to be too affected by the lights and the cameras and the action.
maybe he's right. After Korea and Vietnam, this is a piece of cake.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, now he gets a little bit of a wall shot, a la Dick Weber, who is his bowling idol. Said when he was spending that time over in Europe in the armed services, he idolized Dick Weber and said, someday I might get a chance to bowl him on television. That may very well happen here this evening. Weber's qualified number 2.
He wins one more match and he'll get his wish.
Wouldn't that be something, huh? Callaway trying to strike out the 10th, and that's exactly what he does. An excellent game of 222. Cena checks out for $4,000. And Callaway will advance on into game number 2. And Joe realizing this just could be the night where he captures his first ever PBA Seniors Championship.
Tonight.
Mr. Weber and Mr. Callaway as they meet now for the first time ever in competition. Mr. Callaway averaging now 218 for 2 games, and he'll start on the left-hand lane in the semifinal game here.
He's averaging over 7 strikes a game for the first 2 games, so
maybe this is all a dream and we're just a part of it.
You think so, Dan?
You never know. Do you want to pinch me? No, don't, Mike, please.
I know that Dick Weber wants to get off to a quick start. It's been his style, his game plan throughout his career. Oh, the bad break right out of the gate leaves the swishing 7.
5-pin jutting just in front of the 7. I think he liked that shot.
Yeah, I did too. I thought he thought he had it. He was walking over to the left lane already.
Led this tournament for a while this week. Was first after the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th rounds. And he and Salvino, make no mistake about it, were in a dogfight all week long.
Especially the last 6 or 7 games. They were just back and forth, wound up Salvino coming out on top in the last game.
Right. Weber led by 5 pins heading into the position round game.
And look at those career earnings. I think his son's won more than that, though, you know, so it's amazing.
Yes. Pete has already surpassed that mark, and I'm sure he's probably mentioned that a couple of times to Richard. But Weber continues to chip away here on the Seniors Tour.
Oh, 7-pin, 10-pin. 2 bad breaks right out of the gate. It may be Callaway's night all the way down the line. Semez comes out open, and Weber comes out tap.
Dick Weber this week with just 1 game here in the position round segment on lanes 59 and 60, and he shot a neat 246. It's been a good pair to him through the years.
Well, he's won at least 2 titles on it.
Funny, Dick made a remark. He said, Denny, when I won my first tournament here at the Showboat back in 1963, they had only 32 lanes. For those of you who have yet to come to Las Vegas, they now have 106. That's progress. Well, the Weber wall shot this time falls for Callaway.
It's amazing. He just keeps throwing those strikes. Watch it come in light here. Almost hits the arrows on the fly. Watch the head pin. See the damage it does. The ball will deflect, and the 4-5-7 is standing there, and the head pin comes back, and that's the classic wall shot.
Did you see the ball go right around the 5?
Oh, yeah.
Never touched it. But when you got it going.
He's there.
And that time he was down on 1 knee. I'm not sure if that was more for him or for Mr. Weber.
I'll tell you what. It'd be something to see this guy whip through Semez, Weber, and Salvino to win his first title. Huh?
Don't say it. Boy, would that be something, huh? And for all of you senior players out there, anybody can do it.
Anybody can do it. Just what I was thinking. I'll tell you what. I think this is a big shot coming up in this next frame. Dick Weber has got to put some pressure on this man because he's just getting ahead of everybody, and everybody's playing catch-up to him.
30 years a member of the PBA, 29 career titles.
He stayed down 9. There's our view that we have looking down. You might notice this little plexiglass screen that we've got in front of us so the bowlers can't hear us talking. Callaway working on 3, ahead by 11, can increase it to 21. Oh, I thought he'd given it too much room, Dan, but the ball came back. Weber looks over and just shakes his head.
Dick changes chairs, and in the back of his mind is thinking, you know, for 22 years, this guy's been waiting for me, and I think he found me.
Out on patrol, huh?
Well, the staff sergeant, retiring after 20 years, is turned into a drill instructor right at this point.
One more. One more. 5 in a row.
Now the only question is, when he dreamed that he beat Dick Weber, did he shoot 300?
Watch this one. Never a doubt. His reaction is really interesting, too. He gives it a little karate shot back. Whoa. Watch him pull it back. Wouldn't want to be in the way of that right hand coming back.
Weber looking for the turkey on the right-hand lane. He likes the shot, and he slaps that 10-pin out. So Weber answering the challenge.
This is as calm as I've seen Dick all week long. He has a way of rising to the occasion, as all great champions do. This gets him back within 11, if he can get one more here. Again, the thing to watch is to see if he stays down at the foul line or whether he comes up. He has a tendency to rush and to come up at the line. Came up a little bit. But it came, ooh, ball hooked back and left that solid 10. He's got 2 solid 10s now and a 7-pin.
Well, Weber has flat labeled the pocket.
Watch the ball finish right at the end and a 6-pin, second from the right. It wasn't even close. It never really got close to that 10. Cross lane at the 10-pin. He makes it, he's 22 down. Always been a great spare shooter. He's a presence on the lane. He's always been that way. He has that charisma.
Well, it's like being paired with Jack Nicklaus and playing in the Masters. His presence is worth 10 pins. Huh?
Not to Callaway. A lot of room. Too much. Well, a chink in the armor. The 1, 2, 4, 10 washout. Crowd gives him an applause. You see him, he just got rid of it. Not that far right of target, no lift. And the ball slides right here, hooks back right in that dead zone. He has to hit the head pin on the left to send the head pin over into the 10 to make the washout. Not enough. Not enough, and he's open, and we got a very tight match.
So a hitch of the pants there for Callaway, and the door creaking open just slightly for Dick Weber. 6-pin match right now. Callaway on top by 6, and he now shoots in the 7th. Keep in mind the winner of this game will take on the spook, Carmen Salvino, for the title.
Right back in there. Boy, he drilled that one in there.
Did you see the 4-pin, or was that the 7? Oh, my. Took a real spanking there on the left-hand lane. He leads by 6, but that tune could change if Weber doubles in the 7th and the 8th. Don't go away. That's coming up next. The First Lady of Bowling always standing by and enjoying the action, Juanita Weber, and I think she's pulling for Richard at this point to throw a couple of strikes here in the 7th and the 8th, don't you think?
She's ready to kick him in the rear as they get going here.
Although he has thrown the ball well.
He certainly has. Score doesn't reflect it.
Taps in this game are tough.
See if you can keep that speed up coming out of the commercial. Perfect. Interesting that he chose to finish on the left lane, Dan, because he has just drilled lane 60.
Looks up this way at the broadcast booth with a little smile and nearly tumbles over Callaway. And Joe kind of chuckles and says, Mr. Weber, I'll be out of your way here in just a second. Got to be tough to bowl somebody like that, a legend and an idol, you know? What do you say to him?
Mr. Weber is
yes,
probably
right.
exactly what he said.
I'm sure that's what Joseph is saying.
This is to take the lead for the first time in the match. Did that ball come back?
Woo! Old fingers Weber there, huh?
I've never seen him throw that much hook.
I think he was even surprised.
Watch him. Classic style of Dick Weber. Gets it out almost to the first arrow, and that ball comes whistling right on back, and watch the 6-pin get the 10 this time. Just barely.
Back to live action. Callaway in the 8th. And this time he leaves the half tin. Don't know if he squeezed that shot a little bit or not, but he trails by 4, and it's the first time he's trailed in the match.
Almost the first time he's trailed all day.
Yep.
Just the difference of more speed and going more direct where the lane's a little bit tighter. Weber circling, believe it or not, a little bit, and having the power on the ball to knock that 10 out, and Callaway didn't. Has the spare.
Don't forget the best doubles team in Bristol, Connecticut. John Strike Sanders and also Eric Clean Game Clemens, of course, will be standing by at Sports Center, 11:30, with everything that you'd ever want to know about what happened in the world of sports today, Mike Durbin. And no, the Lakers and Pistons does not play today. That's tomorrow night.
Tomorrow.
All right.
Callaway looking for a strike in the 9th frame. Trailing by 4. Knocks it out there, but increases his deficit to 5 pins if he makes this spare.
With the spare and then striking out in the 10th, the best possible scenario for Callaway, 233. 258 if Weber would take it off the sheet.
Well, you have the old story. Callaway hasn't been here that often. Weber's been here many, many times before, so you'd think advantage Weber right now. Up by 5 pins, can nail him. 2 strikes. Strike here, strike in the 10th, and the match is history. In fact, a strike here in decent count and mark in the 10th, and the match is history.
Experienced the key factor in this match. Weber really never getting shaken.
Quick, high. Oh, did that ball set?
Oh, Juanita looks on and says, Richard, no way should that have struck. And Weber gets away with one that looked like, I don't want to say it, but a chicken wing special.
Now watch him. He's left of target, and the ball's just sliding. It's not really turning over, and it holds pocket all the way. There was just more oil there that held that ball from going high. And he says, all right. Well, he didn't pull a Carmen Salvino hitch up the pants.
No. Dick didn't have a sore back, but he was kind of pleading that time. Now he's going to run this one out. Uh-oh. And they both finally go. So Weber will advance, and for the first time ever, get a chance to bowl a man he has gone heads up with for more than 30 years, Carmen Salvino.
And we watch. He almost has a pocket 7-10. They're both standing. The 7-pin falls, and Weber's in the way. The messenger head pin comes back and gets the 10.
And all he does is blow on his fingers and walk back and say, hey, I had it in the bag.
He says, everybody says only my son can hook the ball, but I can too.
Well, the Showboat Hotel, Casino, and Bowling Center has been a marvelous place through the years for Dick Weber. As a matter of fact, he is the head pro at the Showboat in Atlantic City.
And he might as well be here. He just keeps winning every tournament they have here.
Well, it's amazing. The Weber family really has a stronghold on the Showboat. Of course, Pete won the U.S. Open there. And Richard now has won 3 and looking for maybe more. And, of course, Pete has won here as well at the Showboat in Las Vegas. Does he get them all? Yes, he does. 258 for Weber, 9 strikes, and he finished strong with the last 6.
9 strikes in that game. What a game. And the 3 he didn't strike were all good shots.
So a 3rd place finish and a $5,000 check in a night that Joe Callaway will never forget.
And he blows him out of there.
It ended a little shorter, a little sooner than he thought, but what an experience.
Interesting. This is going to be his highest game, and he's going to lose with it.
That's what happens when you get up that ladder, though, Mike. Competition gets a little tougher.
Those idols are tough to beat.
They sure are. The dream is now effectively turned into not a nightmare, but I think Joe woke up a little bit. Maybe at the 6th.
Well, definitely the key shot in that match, I think, was when he left that washout back in the 6th frame. Weber took advantage of it.
Callaway had the first 5.
Although it could have been the 9th frame where Weber got that fortunate strike. The ball held pocket for him. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, with Weber's shots in the 1st, the 2nd, and the 6th, I mean, he didn't actually get any breaks there. Those were all 3 tackles. Nice finish for Joe Callaway. His first ever appearance on national television. He loses in the semifinal game, but nevertheless, 258 to 233, not too bad, especially when you have to bowl your idol. Big title game coming up next.
At Denny's, you get more than a...
Two of the kingpins of the sport of 10 pins, Salvino and Weber, cheering each other on. And what happened? They both sat down. Somebody better get up and bowl.
Well, I thought it was going to be like Isaiah Magic and they'd give a kiss, but they didn't do that.
I asked Carmen if he would kiss Dick before the match, and he said no, but I might drop my bowling ball on his toe. Kind of set the tone. He said that with tongue-in-cheek, obviously. I think these two, through the years, have developed tremendous respect for one another's abilities.
Solid 10 right out of the gate. And it's interesting, the strategy's already in play, as Salvino has chosen to finish on the left lane and make Weber finish the match. So he wants to post his score first and say, hey, Dick, if you're going to beat me, you're going to have to strike on the 10th to do it.
Take a look at those numbers, 60 and 43. Any players through the years that end up better than 500 on national television are way ahead of the game.
At the 10 pin, no trouble.
Mike had a chance to talk to Carmen about that arm swing and about the way that he approaches things, and he does have a unique style.
Well, years ago when he first came out with this, he called it the equation. And in his book, Fast Lanes, he reveals that equation. Oh, right out of the gate, a 4-9. He tugged the ball a little bit. First frame, in a situation like this, Carmen's going to go for this. The ball's just a little left to target, turns right at the end. The 2-pin flies right around the 4, and the ball chops the 5 off the 9.
A little hitch in the swing, and it just didn't seem to work.
Carmen's going to go for this all the way. Not enough. Not enough.
Well, what's that do to you mentally, trailing by 11 now and throwing what you feel is a pretty good shot in the first frame and ending up with a 4-9?
It's just like getting a cold shower in a hurry. It just deflates your whole game plan right away. Suddenly you're looking up, chasing, scratching, and clawing to get back up there. Better shot.
That time Salvino went with the Magic Johnson jump shot.
But he also, his hand stayed behind the ball so long and he turned it so late. It was just a pretty shot.
We watched him play last night, and he threw the ball. He probably threw the ball as well last night as he has in the last 10 years. Just gorgeous.
He's getting such heavy fingers. I mean, real lift with his middle 2 fingers.
Weber now in the second.
High. Weber this time would come back. Last time in the 9th frame, he flashed that elbow to us that he had turned the ball early. Exactly what he did then. And he has that tendency. He gets that swing out away from his body every now and then. Turns that ball a little early instead of waiting for it. And the ball's headed high right away. 3-6-10. To maintain the lead. He's in trouble. Oh, on the outside.
You don't draw it up that way, but when you're deadlocked in a title match, you have to do whatever you can.
We're going to see the shot where he left that 3-6-10 here in a second. Well, I guess we're not. Notice how Weber keeps his fingers together on that ball like that. I never could do that. I had to spread that index finger. Kind of cut that one off. He got the good result. You see that follow through? He didn't like it. That's not his ace.
All those years, though, that was one of the things that made him the greatest because of that foul line adjustment. He'd get there and he might be a little ahead, a little behind, or this or that, but he was always able to instinctively make the right wrist move.
Evidently.
29 titles don't lie.
Now watch the left hand come over. Right out together. Perfect timing. Helped it a little bit. And got the light hit.
Just destroyed the rack on the right-hand lane.
The key to watch with Carmen is his follow-through. His best follow-through was not that last one. He helped that shot a little bit. The lane brought the ball back in, light in the pocket. These urethane balls, when that ball hits light anymore, destroy those pins.
Carmen with games of 234 and 227 on the championship pair this week, an average of 230.5 and a match play record of 13 and 5.
And if you watched his follow through that time, Dan, the right arm definitely came in front of the face. The elbow broke, which indicated that at the release, he didn't have those heavy fingers that he had back in the second frame. Watch the follow through. Watch it now. See how far to the left he went with that follow through? The ball hit weak. At the spare, has the 10 pin.
Stretches out, takes out the 10. Salvino leading by 1 here in the very early stages of the championship game. And these two players mean business right now. 13,000 on top. So stay tuned. We'll be back with more of the title game from Las Vegas right after this.
All he's got to do on this lane is keep his speed and give the ball a little room. And he did that, but he just kept the speed, but didn't give it quite the room he should, and got away with just leaving the 4-pin.
Mimics himself a little bit, obviously making that correction mentally on the way back.
See him come up at the line a little bit there, and the arm goes right, and the ball's 4-pin high. Keeps it a 1-pin match.
The Showboat Hotel is the longest continuing PBA tournament sponsor. 29 years now. They've hosted 45 PBA tournaments, which is amazing, and given away more than $5 million in prize money. And boy, hats off to Joe Kelly and everybody at the Showboat. They've been marvelous sponsors through the years.
Absolutely. One of our finest. Has to hurry, and knocks out the 10.
He looked to me that time like he almost threw the ball at the lane rather than stroked through it.
Let's put it this way. There's some room out there. He can, Dick especially, can swing that ball wide, and it's going to make it back. Salvino, who did one of his famous tricks here, he not a trick, but he took the ball and he worked on his finger holes in between frames. He's famous for doing that. He's done it all his career. You get that right feel. Blows him out of there. I guess that's the right feel.
A little double hand slap as the ball explodes into the pocket. And there you see Jenny, many years. She still looks as lovely as ever.
See the follow through, though? He's still not real confident in there. When you see that follow through going left like that with Carmen, he has a variety of them, but that's not his ace follow through.
Mr. Animation. He enjoys his bowling.
Is he going to hit it? Did, but not hard enough.
Well, he tickled the 10, but it wouldn't go.
And again, he helped that shot. He's just steering it a little bit then. It's the pressure on both bowlers. Amazing. 43 titles between the two of them nationally and 4 senior titles between the two of them, but yet they're both squeezing just a little bit.
It's funny, though, you make that mention of pressure and the fact that they might be squeezing the ball a little bit. And I talked to Dick about that. He said, Denny, at my age, I don't know how many more of these things I'm going to win. When I get into the position, I got to take advantage of it. And so we look at it and say to ourselves, geez, this guy's got to have the experience to go out and win this thing and be nice and loose and free. But on the other hand, it's exactly the opposite in some cases.
Sometimes. But again, I'm telling you, bragging rights are a big part of this one right here. For the lead. Oh, he got the super setter again. He just shakes his head.
And when Juanita puts the hands up over the glasses, you realize at that point that Weber has received the break of the game.
See the follow through way wide again to the right. A lot of speed. Kept that ball in the 1-3 pocket.
But again, that's his adjustment at the foul line. He knows.
Well, I think the oil in the lane had a little something to do with it, too.
That's not Excedrin headache number 419. That's a double in the 6th, and now it's a 9-pin lead.
Running that out. Better shot all the way. That's the mark of a champion. You get that break, and you take advantage of it.
Now the pressure right back on Carmen Salvino, who is in the 7th, and Carmen desperately needs a double.
Carmen, who takes very little time.
Better shot here on the right-hand lane, and that's as flush as it gets. Carmen doesn't even react to that strike. He knew it was an X.
Carmen Salvino almost in a must-strike situation right here. Keep that pressure on Weber. Watch the follow through. It's the key with Carmen. He's fiddling around with that, putting the hand in and out. They must not feel quite right to him. Oh, bad break on a good shot. Somebody yelling, too much, Carmen, too much. And it's too much 10-pin. It just didn't want to fall over.
Well, I think Weber reacting to the fact that he was hoping for quiet in the crowd. Doesn't want to disrupt the match. There you see the replay. Excellent shot. 10-pin stands again, and Salvino really upset that that one didn't strike. He knew he had to have it. Keep the pressure on.
Oh, absolutely. It was such a big shot. That would have cut the lead to 9 pins. As it is, Weber is up by 19 right now and can just virtually put this match away with 2 more strikes.
257, the possibility for Weber.
He hasn't made a real good shot on this right lane yet. Did it again, high again. Oh, and he got penalized this time. He bent his elbow like that, but that's not what happened. The follow through went right. The hand went over the top of the ball, and the ball went left to target. Now watch it here. See, gets away from the body at the top. Now watch the ball go left. He turns early here, over the top. The follow through goes to the right. He tried to save it. That's the instinctive thing he tried to do, but it's too late now. Tough spare. He's shooting it from the right. Didn't make it, and we've got a ball game.
So while Salvino sits on the bench and Ginny can do nothing but console him, Weber makes the mistake in the 8th, and now it's a 4-pin match, and this one's up for grabs.
And actually, I feel that the emotion or the momentum in this thing, if there is such a thing, has swung to Salvino's side. He's more calm at this point.
Now the issue at hand is strike in the 9th to give yourself an opportunity. Going to run it out a little bit. No wall shot this time, and gets a very good break that the only pin remaining is the 5.
And you see Weber put his hand down like that. He's rushing that line, charging that line, and he knows that that's been his classic mistake throughout the years.
Salvino perhaps working harder on the bench than he is on the approach. Knows that he's going to have an opportunity to win.
He can put the match away. Strike in the 9th and 2 in the 10th, and he can lock it up.
Not wasting any time either on the right-hand lane.
Three, 6, 10. Boy, neither bowler really wants to win. What he heard was somebody, a beep, beep, beep. It was a beeper. I definitely heard it myself.
Weber looks over, concerned, and right now, Carmen Salvino is chatting with Harry Golden, National Tournament Director, and I think Carmen, in essence, was asking for a reshot, wasn't he?
He was asking for interference, and Goose said no.
What's the ruling? We heard it.
It can't be audio that way, especially behind. It has to be something visual in front of you.
Okay, the key now to make the spare. All right, got the spare in the 9th, but explain the rule.
See if we can hear the beep.
There's no audio.
I can't hear it at all. He kind of grimaced. He heard something.
I did.
Well, I definitely heard it too.
Yeah.
The important thing, though, is this match is still within 10 pins. If he can strike out in the 10th frame, he can put the pressure on Weber. Great shot. Oh, and he leaves a solid 8. He says, what do I have to do to knock him over? It's just not my day.
All Carmen can do is smile, and right now his heart is in his throat. He has absolutely thrown the best shot he's thrown the entire night, and he doesn't strike.
And it reminds me of last year. J.B. Blaylock needed a mark to win and left a solid 10 and then missed it. Weber has the magic touch. The luck he has here, he should be making it on the table, shouldn't he?
I'll tell you what right now, though, Dick Weber was so upset last year when J.B. Blaylock missed the 10-pin and handed the title to Dick that he had won, and he was excited about that, but he really felt badly for J.B. Blaylock. And now he's in a position where, in essence, Salvino gets a terrible break in the 9th, throws a great shot in the 10th, and once again, Weber's going to get the chance to win.
He needs 7 to make him mark. And that's going to get 7. The shoe is on the other foot now.
All right.
Last year, J.B. Blaylock needed the mark to win. This year, Weber needs that mark to win. And he has been anything but confident the last few frames on this right lane. Left the 3-9-10 in the 8th frame. We'll see what he does here now. The frozen rope that Weber's famous for when he needs it.
Salvino turned away once again, this time by the man who he has battled for over 30 years, Dick Weber. Boy, that was a classic shot to lock up the match.
Weber's famous for throwing that frozen rope real straight and tight in pressure situations.
So Dick Weber has now won 3 consecutive PBA Senior Showboat Invitationals, and he has now won 30 career PBA titles.
Only a few players have been able to do that.
And I'll tell you right now, when we get a chance to chat with him a little bit later on, the first thing he'll say is, I can't believe what a bad break Carmen got, and I feel badly for him. And that's the kind of individual that Dick Weber is. Finishes out in the 10th. He strikes out for 212. And very quickly, Salvino up, a pat on the back by Weber, and Dick Weber virtually unbeatable here at the Showboats. And on the other side of the coin, the disappointment of Carmen Salvino. The final score, 212 to 194. Weber collects $13,000, and yet another championship